wanted to illuminate two things that have been going on all day and what happened to me over lunch. We were talking about networking, and I believe it was Dee that said, let's get the transactional room. Come on, we got stuff to do, get into action. I was lucky enough to check in with Karen over lunch. We were talking about the trajectory of iFund Women, because I missed the first part because I was getting mic'd up. And she goes, okay, let's do the thing, transactional, what's your ask? And I said, I don't have one. I said, I was just literally checking in. I said, what's your ask? And she's like, I have one. And I'm like, yay, I can help Karen Kahn. I'm a badass today. It felt so good. And then also what happened over lunch, I met a new friend. Her name is Deepthi. She is an entrepreneur in the Indian government doing amazing technology and software innovation. She is going to take the fall off to go teach at the University of Florence to get her papers published. She's a mother of two. I hope you don't, I'm going down the rabbit hole. Her and her husband raised these children in a marriage that works for them that is transcontinental. Everybody is loving it, and what, I'm getting goosebumps. We have this shared point of view on what working motherhood is for us. We both believe in raising resilient children. I spent the last 2.5 years taking 41 business trips in 20 months. I was away from my kids more than I ever have been. They don't remember that when they were little and their dad was traveling, so I have that sort of relationship. But this is like what networking is. It isn't always about these business cards and what can you people do for my people. It's about feeding your soul. It's about creating stories with one another. Because Deepthi and I are always going to remember this day for one another. She might not remember anything about what I do, but we had this moment. And if I need to figure out something in India, I have a phone a friend right at the top of my Rolodex.
Woo!
Yeah. Thank you all for today. And now we're going to talk about entrepreneurs. I'm going to borrow one more thing from Deepthi. Karen's like, what's your A to B? She goes, oh, Karen, I don't do A to B. I do A to Z. And I get there incrementally, but I think about Z. And it resonated with me with entrepreneurs because you start with a spark, a passion. There's something so strong in you. Forget about product market fit. It starts up here first. That you either go searching for product market fit or you're willing to sacrifice something equally important in your life to make your dream, your product, your idea come true. So I'm super excited to welcome Heather, Holly, and Asosa to the stage here today. I'm not even going to attempt to do their intros or their stories. I've asked for each of them to share their story and their journey, kind of like in a Cliff Notes version, because we're going to dive into 3 key themes as we go today. Okay? Asosa, would you like to get us started, please?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Asosa Iguodaro Johnson. Thank you so much for having me. I'm one of the co-founders of Black Women Talk Tech. We are the largest network of Black women tech and scalable founders. We've been around for 8 years out of New York City. Our mission is to help Black women build the next billion-dollar tech scalable business. It's no surprise, or if it is in this room, that venture capital, hiring people, or just entrepreneurship in general is hard. And we want to make it much easier for Black women who are looking to create really big ideas. So I didn't start out this way. I actually started out in Citibank. I worked at Citigroup for about 7 years under the Global Consumer Group for many, many years, just managing credit card services. For all of you, through the time of 2008 to 2014, you heard from me. But I found that, over time, although I was good at the work, I started feeling very uninspired and wanted to find a space where I can challenge myself and impact a little bit more closely to my heart. So I decided to create a technology company called Cosign, where I created the first buy button for social media. So you can shop directly from any social media platform as early as 2012. And the whole mission of that was to create an image recognition company, to be better able to allow anybody to recognize any image, any items within images or videos. It was a very hairy problem, but I thought, oh, this is a great challenge to go ahead and do in my 20s. And so that's when I discovered technology as a real passion for me and found that it was really lonely. I was in a room with a lot of guys and didn't see anyone that looked like me and wanted to kind of create a community around that. And that's the birth of Black Women Talk Tech.
Woo!
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Holly Gerard. I'm the founder of Fun Day. I I am making sustainable, eco-chic shoes in Italy. And so it's fun day, think ice cream sundae. So you pick your cone, pick your flavor, and put your cherry on top. So it's sustainable. The entire brand is rooted, I think it is, there you go. Yep, entire brand is rooted in personalization, purpose, and there we go, and preservation. So I found, I did not come from this background. I know we're gonna get to that a little bit later. I came from marketing and media, and I worked in marketing for 25 years. I saw a lot, is this on?
Is it on, everybody? Can we hear Holly?
All right, sorry about that.
Not yet.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
So throughout my career in marketing and media, I don't know why it's moving on me. Thank you. Will it echo? Okay. All right. Is that any better?
You just gotta hold it close.
Hello. Oh boy. Okay, so I was in media. I was on the other side, clearly not behind a microphone. I was in sales, but I did a lot of market strategy and helped other brands at the rise of the .coms and direct-to-consumer brands, and always had a thirst for entrepreneurship and was wondering what would I do. I've always loved shoes, but I wasn't in fashion. But then when the market trends started to really showcase the need for sustainability and our issues with climate change, as well as people wanting more personalized products and products that give back with purpose, I got a little more courage to go out and launch my brand because there wasn't something that I could find. Most shoes are built by men. They're not comfortable, right? So I'm definitely on a way to make them more comfortable, but most importantly is the sustainability. So my shoes are truly vegan. So when we say vegan, it's not plastics that aren't post-consumer. And I think the industry is ripe for education and transparency. So this is farm to foot. These are made of, these are 100% corn, 90% on the upper. The bottoms are custom recycled Maserati parts or Italian luxury. I didn't pay the rights yet. But it's designed to help us do better with intentional consumerism and conscious consumerism. And most of the sustainable products right now are geared towards athleticism and casual wear. And I didn't see much in the way of stilettos. And the earth is beautiful and colorful. And I think that we need more beauty in the world and empowering of women. So I will be giving a percentage back to healing and healing women. So partnered with domestic violence and different charities, human trafficking. So brands are very powerful, and with education and transparency, I think that the consumers can rely on us even more than government to make a difference.
I think you can hold that.
So,
Hi, I'm Heather Campbell. I'm the CEO of Ready, Set, Recover. We help people get ready for and recover from surgery in a better way by looking at the human side. When you're having surgery, surgery actually starts the minute you hear the words, you need surgery. It's not about midnight the night before. From that moment on, you are making decisions about what you are going to do, how you're going to talk about it, how you're going to ask for help, how you're not going to ask for help. We've got a framework that helps you look at what you can take control on. Similar to, so many stories, I needed it. That's why this happened. I was having surgery. I had a great surgeon, but I got nervous. I created a little program for myself, just thinking, okay, I'm going to take action. And afterwards, he's admiring his work. He's, kind of proud of himself. He's a surgeon. But he's also a really good guy. And he says, I really wish all of my patients could be like you. And I, somewhat naively, said, okay, I'm going to go make a company to do that. And so Ready, Set, Recover was born. When I think about what I had inside of me to get me there, again, similar to other stories that we've heard, I was an intrapreneur before being an entrepreneur. So at ESPN, I was in charge of synergy. When I got that job, the person who called me and asked me about it said, I've got this job, I think you're perfect for it. I said, what is it? She said, I don't know, really. But okay.
It's like a very early 2000s role.
Oh, completely. I've also been in charge of alchemy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, synergist, alchemist. But within all of these things, it's about making people feel seen, heard, and celebrated, and giving them a framework of action. It's the same thing that we do at Ready, Set, Recover. So that is what I started, and that's what I'm doing.
That's great. We're going to cover 3 themes in the time we have left together. And I'm just going to tell you what they are so we're all on this journey together, right? Heather's gonna lead us through like getting the right team on the field. We don't have to do this alone, and your team can come from everywhere in the world. Holly's gonna talk about filling the gaps fearlessly for the skills you don't have innately. And then Associates is going to take us through the transferable skills of being an everyday employee and transferring those skills into entrepreneurship. So I think it makes sense to start with you first, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Thank you.
So a lot of what people don't understand about jumping in full-time and working on your own business is that it's really all about the relationships you're constantly building and the things you do every day. So when you're working at your corporation, you're using all the different skill sets today, from problem solving, analytical skill set, managing your time, even hiring or even managing a team. Those skill sets are all the things you definitely need when deciding to take a chance on yourself and going after a bigger opportunity where you think you can fill in that gap. And one of the things that I used to do, or some advice that I got early on in my career at Citigroup, as a management consultant, I was able to have a lot of great mentors. And one of the things that was really interesting of advice I got was building a personal board of directors. It was great having that experience as an employee of Citigroup and being able to bounce off ideas or challenges that I had and have people rally around me around how do I kind of think through that problem set. And then when I actually had an actual business where I raised money, $1.4 million for my business, I had a real board and I had all this different fiduciary responsibilities of reporting that I already had training around because I just had this board of personal people vested in my success. Another way that I thought was really interesting or transferable for me, that was a great advice, is that business is all about relationships. And when building relationships in the workplace, you're still building those relationships and betting that they trust you and the service you're providing or product or any good you're providing is what it says it is. And one of the ways you build that trust and relationship, especially if you're someone like me who really came into a space where I had no network. I know no one who was in banking or technology or anything of that way. I ended up being able to learn how to network more channelly, which is managing up, down, or all around was great advice. And what I learned is doing these coffee chats and making sure we do they're called informational interviews with folks. And when you do those coffee chats or informational interviews with folks, you start to build those relationships and you end those conversations with who are two people I can talk to that you think would be really vested or interested in the mission that I'm trying to go to next. And that is how I started to build my network, build the trust with the relationships. And then in the future, those people started to do business with me and I started to see millions of dollars with my business as a result. And so I just take those two things as like more tactical examples of what I did that was really helpful in building my transferable skill sets from Citigroup to everyday working in entrepreneurship.
Building trust with the relationships, super important. It's a two-way street, too.
Yes.
All right, Holly, we're gonna put you on the hot seat.
Okay,
Solving for supply chain when you're not a supply chain executive.
absolutely.
Okay.
I don't know which mic I'm using, this one.
No.
Okay,
It's
perfect.
working.
Fantastic. So yes, I entered into the fashion space with zero fashion experience beyond being a consumer of fashion. And I would agree with the journey and the importance of growing your career and regardless of where you go, is always remaining curious. Lean into curiosity and research and having that entrepreneur experience, because when you do that in corporate environments, you realize your appetite for innovation, and sometimes it's harder in corporate environments. And so it gave me a little bit of courage to go out and do my own thing. I had a lot to learn. It was very scary. It was extremely vulnerable and exciting at the same time. And so what I did was diversify the skill sets that I did not have and find a path to that end game, like Karen was saying, is, okay, I know someday I hope I can raise money and that I hope I can be a leading sustainable brand. So what does that mean? So I am an angel investor in another sustainable brand called Another Tomorrow. So I got myself a seat at the table. I'm now learning, I'm now networking with these other women. And so it's looking at the long version of where you want to go. And then my other area where I really didn't have experience is supply chain, which I know that's what your main question was. And it's fascinating because there's so many that we could have multiple conversations about the supply chain. But one thing I noticed that really, really stood out is the fashion supply chain materials is extremely antiquated and siloed. And so I see a world where sustainability can actually benefit so much more from a digitized version of access to the information. A lot of brands are starting to have transparency in the life of the product, the carbon footprint, where it's from. And I think we can learn from industries such as the travel industry and the radio industry. I think of the supply chain of the materials reminds me a lot of the 90s, late 90s and early 2000s when the media companies were evolving into the digital space and letting that go and really getting into the systems and how we price it and how it's dynamic. And so I'm hoping that we can get to that. And do things a little bit better. And then I think the other important element, just from founder and everything else, is storytelling, which we're hearing right now, right? And we've heard that all day. And so that's also part of it, is just getting out there, getting the story, and being vulnerable to share it and learn.
Yeah, and ask your network to practice your story. Safe space, right?
Yeah.
All right, got a few minutes.
Okay.
Talk about team, building your team.
So part of building your team is recognizing this is a game. Entrepreneurship's a game.
We were talking about soccer earlier.
Totally. I've worked at ESPN. I can give you a million sports analogies. This is a game. So within the game, number one, there are rules to the game. You got to learn the language of the game. Use resources that let you do that. We've been hearing about resources throughout this day, and it's so wonderful. But then, who is on your team so that you can win this game? You got to invite a lot of people. But you have to do so with recognizing you only have so much time and energy. So you're going to cast bring people in, let them try out for your team. Again, you're in charge. You're the coach. They're trying out this offer, this ask. You want to make it mutually beneficial, absolutely. But you're the coach. You get to decide. Invite them in. I'm going to invite you all to be on my team right now. I'm an entrepreneur. I've got this company. It's important. I need to do an efficacy study. I am hearing from people right now that my program changes their life. It's incredible. Anecdotally, fewer complications, fewer readmits, higher patient satisfaction, all things that benefit the hospital. It's wonderful, but I need data. In order to get that, I need a researcher. I can talk efficacy, I can say that word. I don't know how to get it. I don't know what's statistically significant. I need someone whose eyes light up when they think, oh, I can be a part of moving us from hurt care to health care. Absolutely. So I'm letting all of you know, I'm looking for a researcher within a system. Most likely it's going to be at a teaching hospital associated with the university. I welcome the opportunity to talk to any of you about it. I also recognize some of you are going to just nod your head and be like, oh, that was nice. Okay. That's okay too. So as you are doing this, as you are building your team, you constantly have to be offering, asking, but remember, you're actually trying people out,
Right.
Because you only have so much time.
And you owe them nothing. You owe them nothing. I think women, we feel like, well, I owe you a spot because you gave me your time.
Nope.
Nope, it's tryout.
Nope.
It's tryout.
And again, when I do all of this, sometimes people have a hard time asking. When you let someone help you, if you help someone else, the chemicals released around your heart. When you do something kind for someone else. So start asking people and let them help you because you're actually helping their heart.
Awesome. I don't even know how to follow that. That was so all right, everybody. I am sorry to report that having a panel of 3 whip-ass women is really hard when you're time constrained. But I'm also happy to report that they are all here part of the conference today. I fully support you finding them in between the breaks or later today with all of your questions. I'm sure they're numerous. But thank you all for coming here today. Thank you for sharing it in a speed dating format. That was awesome. You did great. And we'll see y'all soon. Thank you.